G'day everyone, Prep Aussie here. I hope you're all well in whatever part of the world you're watching this video. Today is Friday, the 23rd, 22nd of June 2018, and the time here is 09:15 AM Australian Eastern Standard Time. Well folks, as I said, I was going to bring you some information as regards to economics, and I actually did the video yesterday, and the video crashed after all my effort. So I got disgruntled and left it at that. And I thought, oh, well, I'll get back to it later, but I never did. So here I am today, hopefully able to show you what I wanted to show you. Now, I've got a lot of people ask me about, financial. I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not a financial anything. I'm just a financial hack. And an economic hack. I started doing this stuff years ago, and just through trial and error have become, what I would say, kind of proficient at it. I've got a better understanding of it than most people, to be honest with you. I don't know why, because I'm actually dyslexic, but I seem to take an interest in it, and it seems to work for me. Now, I said yesterday, the other day on the video, as regards to, keeping your ear to the ground so you can actually know what's going on with this stuff. And I still stick to that. And I said that, you can't take money from here, get it over there, because the money that you're taking will not be repaid. And, that debt has to come in somewhere from someone. So I'm going to read you a comment in the comment section from two Americans on my last video, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. It's actually very interesting. So let me just go to that quickly. Hang on a sec. So the comment is from Branky Ma. I hope that's right, or May. Here in the States, we got a federal tax break, all right, just enough to be offset by state taxes. That just so happened to go up at the same time. So we actually paid more tax this year. State of Louisiana just raised our taxes in January, and they are fixing to raise them again. Local taxes are constantly going up as well. I feel like the world is on fire. What are your thoughts on this immigration issue we are having? I feel like it is foretelling, so to speak. I just can't wrap my head around it. You are not alone. My heart is with you, and all Australians. Be well, be blessed. Thank you for that, Frankie May. And listen to what Margie Tucker from Texas says. Branky May, the federal tax break really helped me. My paycheck has increased substantially, and it's nice to have more money every month. I'm using that extra money wisely to prepare. Very sorry to hear about your state taxes. I live in Texas, and we don't have state income taxes, so we don't have that problem. So the tax break has been very beneficial for us. Now, if that sounds somewhat ironic to what I just said, then it's true, because you've actually got states in America, and this is true, that don't have any income tax. But the states that have all the taxes are paying for all those taxes that people don't pay. So Louisiana, for want of a better term, is actually subsidising Texas for the fact that they don't pay any taxes. I hope that makes sense. It's something that every time I go to America, it always baffles me, how people think that you can live in Texas or Florida, I think it was, didn't pay taxes at the time either, and you could actually, everyone else was paying taxes, but they weren't. And you're like, well, how does that work? It just amazes me how people think like that. I just, you can't take money from one place, put it somewhere else, or have people from one place paying taxes and the other one not paying taxes, and not realising that that is having a knock-on effect to everyone. Because you not paying taxes, even though you think it's great, is actually causing people who are paying taxes to actually pay more. That's how this system works. It's not a child maths prodigy understanding here. That's very, very, very basic mathematics. If you ain't paying something, then someone else has to pay for anything in life. That's how this works, folks. It's not a mystery. So my point is that will always be the case. The reason why America, especially America, has got itself into such a state is because not enough people are paying taxes, which sounds hard to believe. But then, of course, the other issue is that when you do raise the taxes, the people are spending them stupidly, like the government, on stupid things. So, as regards to the immigration, right, this is my thoughts on the immigration. Has been for years. If you have your working class people, and I'm going to prove this to you in a minute, if you have your working class people and your higher class of people, for want of a better term, blue collar, white collar, all working away diligently, you can only get to a substantial, a certain type of level of income, regardless whether that income's your government income from taxes or your personal income with taxes. It doesn't work any other way. The only way you can boost government coffers is to actually have more people. More people are immigrants, immigration. You will find that the Western civilization demographic doesn't work to the monetary fiat model that we have because of the fact that in Western civilization we don't breed enough. And I can prove that very easily on the US debt clock. You know, there should be 800 million people in America to pay for the 400 million people that aren't paying taxes. That's, once again, just standard child mathematics. It doesn't work out any other way. So the reason why all this immigration is going on is because the governments of the world are flat broke. They need the immigrants in the country to build things, to build things for them, to employ people to look after them, to build hospitals, schools, you know, all these things which take a drain on your taxes in the short term. But in the long term, it's hoped that these people will actually fork out and start paying money. But of course, if they are of a camel jockey variety, then sadly, the majority of those people don't work that well. And they don't pay taxes, and they do a lot of underhanded, backhand things here and there as well, black market, etc. So they're not the best demographic to get into your country to actually start to bolster your income. And you know, after 15 to 20 years of this now, I think the Western society is starting to realise, well, you know, why did we throw the life buoys out to these guys when all they're doing is actually we're dragging them in with a pound of concrete on them, sort of thing. So that's the problem. That's the whole demographic of immigration. The specific immigration issue in America on the southern border, I can't remember if it was Nostradamus or one of them. I read it recently. I'm pretty sure it was Nostradamus. It wasn't recently, it was a couple of years ago, where they said, he said that the Americans will actually, there will become a epidemic of immigration, mass illegal immigration on the southern border of America. You can read up about it. And if you want my honest opinion, America has no option now. And if you listen to a speech that Trump gave yesterday in regards to immigration, and he was very specific what he was saying about Mexico, because he said it at least 4 times. Mexico does nothing. Mexico is giving us nothing. Mexico is taking everything, but they are giving us nothing. And I've also recently found out that America has recalled a lot of its warships back to port, east and west. And if you want my honest opinion, I think they're going to do a 50-mile, they're going to invade Mexico if they don't smarten up, and they're going to enforce a 50-mile, 20-mile, 10-mile, whatever it is, exclusion zone. Sounds far-fetched, but I don't think it is, folks. I think they've had enough of being treated like Mexico treating the Americans as a bunch of idiots. So I don't think it's too far unfathomable that very soon you may have US troops walking across the Rio Grande, etc., or not walking across the Rio Grande, but swimming across, you know what I mean, and setting up a perimeter on the other side of the border and saying, this ain't happening no more, fellas. We told you, we told you, we told you. You didn't sort yourself out. Tough shit. I'd want to go to Greg Hunter, USA Watchdog, just quickly. This was an interview Greg Hunter did with Craig Hemke, his name is. And in actual fact, you see on the left-hand side here, he's got the Catherine Austin Fitts interview and this interview. Please watch the Catherine Austin Fitts video first and then watch this video, because Greg's done something really well here. He's actually got two people saying, one's telling you that the money's missing, and the other guy's telling you exactly what's going to happen because it's missing. And they are both exactly spot on. She's telling you there's 50 trillion missing, and he's telling you, well, yeah, it is missing, but this is what's going to happen now that it is missing, and how to prepare yourself. And they're two conversely different interviews, but both seamlessly run together, if you know what I mean. It was really well done on Greg's part. I would highly recommend that you watch both of these videos if you have not already watched them, because they will prepare you for what's happened and what is going to happen. There's no two ways about it, folks. Now, Economics 101. This is Trading Economics homepage. And as I said before, this is the page that I use for all my, I don't go to any other page. Is it 100% foolproof? Probably not, but it's the page that I go to pay attention to what's going on in the world economically. And there is a lot going on in the world economically. And it's not good. You know, this bluster about, yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, you are, but, you know, to what you need to do compared to what it is. So working on that premise that maybe it's not infallible, but its information is pretty good. Let's look at this. Look here, it says news, and then it's got calendar. Well, it gives you an update every day. So I haven't refreshed this because I wanted you to see it. It gives you an update every day of exactly what's going on in the world. You know, who's on the calendar side, it gives you exactly which bank or whatever's giving an announcement. And on this side, you get a lot of information as regards to, you know, what's happening in the world economically. And it's very easy to read. You only need to spend 2 minutes a day looking at this stuff to make it work for yourself. It's that easy. Sorry, folks, something's just happened to my screen there. So like I said, it's very easy to use. It's not hard. Get to know your way around, markets, indicators, calendar, etc. You know, they're all the same. So they don't change the process too much. And as I said, you can click on any country you want, read what's happening at the moment, and you start to realize that the world is not in a good spot as it's being made out to be. In actual fact, it's actually collapsing more than actually going up. And that's a sad fact. You know, I'm not trying to be a doom or soothsayer. That's the reality. There is no real economic upheaval, especially in the Eurozone. They are in a shitload of trouble, and all these countries are trying to get out of the euro now. When why would they be trying to get out if it's supposed to be so magnificent, as everybody's saying? So that's something to think about. Now, I'll go on these individually because they take up a lot of space and they've got a lot of stuff on them. This is the US debt clock. Now, traditionally, when I used to do my business stuff, would give me what's called a dashboard chart like this, I'd just refuse it. And the reason I would do that is because people who make up dashboard what's names are trying to hide something, in my opinion. And that's been proven after all the times that I've looked at these all over the years. Here's the big problem. US national debt, 21 trillion going on to nearly 21 and a half. Now, if you know how to read this, and it takes a bit of getting used to, but you can actually read this properly. And there's only a few things you need to read. This is the US federal tax revenue, 3 trillion. Now that 3 trillion there has to pay for all the stuff down here. See this? That's not it. Go down a bit further. There should be a big line through here saying all these down here are all the bad things. Okay, all this shit down here is what that 3 trillion has to pay for. It's not that hard to get your head around, but you soon see that, yeah, well, this is a bit of a problem. We don't have enough income as a country because we've only got $3 trillion to pay for all these bad things that are down here. Living in poverty, Medicare enrolments, food stamp recipients, total receiving benefit, Medicaid recipients, without insurance, US retirees, veterans, public school students, convicted felons. You know, all these people cost you money, regardless of whether they're good or bad. And that is not a state revenue thing. That's a federal tax thing. So think of all the stuff that the federal government has to pay for, and then you start to have an idea. Then you go to this. US gross domestic product. Now, when you go on these links, by the way, when you click on them, watch this up here. US, see, just up here, what's this? It tells you what it is. Gross domestic product is a basic measure of the market value of all final goods and services made within the borders of the USA in a year. So you're actually $1 trillion short of your debt limit before you've even started. So you only need a few things to go wrong, and all of a sudden each year you're in debt. That's why this model doesn't work. I hope that makes sense. But then if you go over here, US population, 327 million. US workforce, 155 million. Official unemployment, 6 million. Actual unemployment, 12 million. Full-time workers, 128 million, not in labour force, nearly 100 million people. Does anyone understand that those figures don't work up? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to work this stuff out, folks. My 12-year-old kids could work this out doing simple child maths. It's not that hard. But cast your eye left and look at all the red. Red, 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 red. Red everywhere. That's the problem. So you start to get an idea of what's the real problem. And then, as I said, yeah, this is bad down here, and they've got a breakdown here. Largest budget items: Medicare, 1 trillion; Social Security, nearly $1 trillion; Defence, war, $500 billion; income security, Oh, jeez. 294 million, or was that billion? That's billion. Net interest on debt, $300 billion. Federal pensions, nearly $300 billion. Sorry, folks. Yeah, so as you can see, there is no fixing this problem, folks. There isn't enough money, and there is never going to be enough money. And as I said, even if Trump says, okay, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take 15 trillion off you guys in the euro because you're all scumbags and you ripped us off for years and you're all criminals, etc., etc. Well, it's not going to happen because then the eurozone is going to collapse and the whole world's going to collapse. So we've got ourselves into this conundrum where there's nowhere else to turn. There's only one thing to do, and that's to call a debt jubilee, like I said. Or for Trump to just say, sorry guys, everyone's going to have to get a haircut. You're only getting 3 cents in the dollar. And then the same thing's going to happen as well. So, you know, there is no way out of this. No matter what anybody says, no matter what anyone does, there's no way to get out of this because someone is going to get left holding the baby. And that's the crucial point here. Someone's going to get left holding the baby. Who that is at the moment is they're playing, you know, pass the magic parcel around, and pretty soon the clock's going to stop. And whoever gets left holding the baby is the one who's going to let go bust first. So let's look at the, I'll get out of that because, as I said, it takes up a lot of space. And then we'll go on the Australian debt clock. Now there's a couple of these. One's got 600 or 801. The other one's got 6 or something like that. I can't remember. No, this is it. 6 trillion. Now this is a total, when you go on this as well, it's the same as the American one. Representative aggregate credit outstanding in both the private, household and business sector and the public government sector of the Australian economy, including debts outside of the banking system. I'm not 100% sure what including debts outside of the banking system is. I'm starting to think that might be bonds, derivatives, etc. So yeah, it's pretty heavy, whatever it is. Remember, and this is something to remember here, folks, and especially for you guys in America, we only have 23 million people. We're not 300 million. We're in a country the same size as the US, more or less demographically, but we are not populated. 3/4 of Australia is desert. We have 23 million people living sparsely, and we have 6 trillion in debt, going on 7. How do you think that's going to work out? Even at the levels now, and I just showed you, at 801 total government debt is heading towards $1 trillion. And the big splash for cash at the moment with all the infrastructure, you know, giving South Australia another new airport, or, you know, sorry, doing more extensions onto the South Australian airport, even though they just finished rebuilding it, like literally just finished throwing shovels in the back of the truck yesterday. They're going to build a whole new section of the South Australian airport, or the Adelaide airport. For who? Because no one wants to live in bloody South Australia. That's for sure. And these are the things, you know, you go around the country at the moment, they're trying to build everything at once. Because they're saying, well, let's get the infrastructure going, then more money's being spent, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to work. The debt levels are so high now that it's not going to work. And as I said, that's not trying to be a doomsayer. That's actually being practical and sensible. So you can believe all that rhetoric if you want, but I'm guessing because you're watching me that you're not believing that, which is what we're all doing here, because we're prepping for what's coming and listening to what people are saying about what's coming. So, okay, let's go to the next one. This is actually fiscally wrong, this one, but I'll show you anyway. This is the world debt clock. This figure here is incorrect. It's actually gone past $2 quadrillion. Now I'll say that again. It's gone past $2 quadrillion American. So this 72 trillion and whatever it is wrong. It's actually high, a lot higher than that. So this page is actually incorrect. But it gives you an idea of just how bad things have gotten. It's just going to keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. So what I'm going to do is go back to the Australian one. Now, how does 23 million people, now remember, 23 million people don't pay taxes. If you get a chart, a pie chart, and you cut it up, then you actually realise that at the end of the day, you've only got like, I don't know, 3.5, maybe 4 million people that are paying full-time taxes out of 23 million people. Maybe it's 6. Okay, let's say 6. So there ain't a lot of people there paying taxes, folks, and there ain't a lot of people paying full taxes for sure. So whenever you get a black market economy happening anywhere in the world, then that tax revenue is decreased even more. You know, if we all had friggin' brains, we would all be, sorry, dogs are barking at somebody. If we all had friggin' brains, we'd all be marching down the street demanding that every single person pay 100% tax, not trying to skip out of paying taxes. And I don't mean like 100%. I mean, you know, like everyone was paying their full whack of tax that's required each year. That includes people like BHP, Rio Tinto. You know, as I said to you, have a look at their upcoming financial reviews at their end of financial year things. You will see that the only tax they pay in Australia is payroll tax. And as I said, I'm a dyslexic economic hack, and I read their last manifestos, and their manifestos clearly state that most of their money is franked in about 3 different countries and they don't pay anything. Now remember, they get the stuff from here in Australia, from my country, your country. They send it overseas, they get the money, and it never comes to this country. And we're stupid enough to let this shit happen. So, but we don't march down the street about it because we get payroll tax. You beauty. Thanks, guys. And as I said, I think they pay, I think it's 26 cents a ton. I'm going to have to check it out and I'll get back to you. But from my recollection, it was 26 cents a ton that they pay duty. So when they were talking about this rent resources tax, where they had to pay like $1 or something, and they were freaking out, well, you know, we were all stupid enough to sit here and believe this shit until I actually looked into it a little bit more and found out that they don't pay anything. They're actually paying nothing. And that's your inheritance, my inheritance, and every other Australian's inheritance that they're pissing up against the wall in, you know, some honky-tonk bar in New York or in London and Switzerland somewhere, and putting their money in the Cayman Islands or wherever. And just, you know, constantly coming here and bending us over and grabbing our ankles. So, you know, you can believe what you want, but that's the truth. You can actually get the manifestos yourselves and read through them, and you can soon see that it's the truth. They don't pay any taxes. You know, what a ridiculous situation we've all got ourselves into. And you, me, and everyone else is going to pay the price for that. Because don't forget, the upper 10%, while this has all been going on since 2007, or the year 2003, is they're not paying any money. They're actually hoarding money. They get more money now than they've ever had in their lives. So the main thing here is just get ready. When's it going to happen? I don't know. Trump could wake up tomorrow and say, that's it. It's all over. We can't do this. We're just going to take a haircut. Everyone's going to have to take a haircut. And that's the daisy chain going down. But this much I do know. Nothing's going to correct itself until America, the US government, puts its foot down. What do I mean by that? Well, I just mentioned the Mexico border. For a long time now, you've had consecutive governments in the US just sitting back and, as I said, bending over and grabbing their ankles. Trump ain't grabbing no one's ankles, mate. And very soon, Trump's going to say to either Mexico or one of these bloody, minion countries that are actually dictating terms to Trump at the moment, he's going to turn around and say he's either going to do one or two things. He's either going to send the troops in, or he's just going to flat refuse to give them any money, regardless of what the outcome is. Well, you're doing nothing for me, so why the shit should I do anything for you? But my number one thing is that he's going to push the Mexicans back about 50 miles off their border. And he's just going to say, I told you, stop piss farting around with us. And then that is going to be the correction date for the world. Moving forward from that point will be the point where everyone goes, holy shit. A, this guy ain't jerking around. And two, now we can move forward as a whole. We can actually start to achieve something good here instead of, this whole load of shit we've been putting up with for the last 30 years. Anyway, so into the sermon. Let's get back to a bit of reality here. Bible Gateway. Okay, verse of the day. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Oh, what a good one, eh? Let me read that again. Verse of the day. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Very, very apt. Sorry, that's my cat you can hear in the background. And as always, folks, we're going to end with the Lord's Prayer. A good friend of mine lost her husband yesterday, so he's only 46 years old, which is tragic in itself. 3 kids, wife, the whole lot. So if you can keep her in your prayers, that'd be much appreciated, because I've got a heavy heart today for her, that's for sure. Anyway, folks, the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. So, if you want to take it into perspective, folks, we're sitting on a time bomb. Except the only thing is, it's underneath your seat and you can't see it. So you've got to figure out, it's there. Should you turn the ignition on or not? Because you have to drive down the highway no matter what. So you either become a bomb disposal expert, or you hope that you turn the car on and it doesn't explode. Bit of a funny analogy there, but you know what I'm trying to say. We're all living on a time bomb. There's no way out of this. And, the shame of all this is that you, me, and everyone else is going to pay a heavy price for this. Not so much the people at the top. But I'm starting to think that may be, with all this nationalism running around, that may actually happen. So let's hope. Anyway,